Hey guys, this is episode 6 of the Chile Ride series here on the Spanish Dojo channel, which documents my cousins and my motorcycle adventure across the country of Chile in January of 2020. If you haven't done so yet, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Remember that this series is available in both English and Spanish, so if you prefer, solo haz clic aquí arriba para ver este episodio en español. Last time, the whole episode took place in the northern part of the region of Los Lagos. In this episode, we'll ride across the rest of that region and then enter the northern portion of the Aysén region. This also marks our departure from the Zona Sur, or Southern Zone, and entry into the Zona Austral, or Austral Zone. Both of these names technically convey the idea that these are zones in the south, of course, but the use of Southern versus Austral is a handy way of distinguishing between the two. If it helps, you could think of them as being the Southern Zone and the Southernmost Zone. Some of the same trends continue in this zone: heavier rainfall, lots of lakes, mountains, volcanoes, etc. And you'll also start to see signs of glacial presence in this area. Also note that we're still in the area that's more broadly referred to as Patagonia, which will be the case throughout the remainder of the series. When we last left you, we were taking an overnight ferry from Ormopiren. At around 6 o'clock or so on the morning of January 20th, we fired up the bikes and disembarked at Caleta Gonzalo. David dropped his glove on the way off the ferry, but I was able to snag it for him and we were no worse for the wear. With that, it was up the ramp and back onto Route 7, the Carretera Austral, or Southern Highway, where we could see cars waiting to take the ferry ride back the other way. This stretch started out on gravel, which was unfortunate, but it was a really pretty area, so the view made up for it somewhat. There are two smaller lakes in this area, Lago Rio Negro, or Black River Lake, and Lago Rio Blanco, or White River Lake, which is the one you see off to my right here. It's only about 35 miles from the point where we disembarked at Caleta Gonzalo to the town of Chaitén, where we figured we'd stop and get some gas before heading out. It took a little while to get there due to the gravel at the outset, but we eventually hit pavement along the way. This is actually a volcanic area, and we ended up riding right by the Chaitén volcano, which erupted in 2008. Here we're crossing the Rio Rayas, and that mountain right in front of us is the Chaitén volcano. You can even see some of the debris from the eruption down there. We wended our way down to the small town of Chaitén, which is within just a few miles of the Chaitén volcano and actually had to be evacuated when it erupted in 2008, which was crazy because it hadn't been active since around the year 1640. We caught up with our friends from the previous day at the Copec station there in town, where we prepped for a long day of great riding and beautiful Patagonia scenery. On the western edge of the town of Puerto Cárdenas, you'll find Puente Yelcho, the Yelcho Bridge. As you cross the bridge, you can see Lago Yelcho, the Yelcho Lake, on the left, which is fed by Rio Yelcho, the Yelcho River, on the right. Route 7 hugs the Yelcho Lake for a while and then heads off between the mountains. We came across a little roadside stand along the way and got to try mote con huesillo for the first time. This is a traditional Chilean summertime drink, kind of like lemonade or iced tea would be for Americans. It's made of peaches, husk wheat, sugar, corn, and cinnamon. I wasn't sure I'd like it since I'm not a huge peach fan, but it was incredible. David and I really enjoyed it. As you can see, we ran into some more stretches of gravel and some other rough patches here and there along the way, but it was mostly pavement, and overall it was very enjoyable riding. Here we're riding along the Rio Frio, or Cold River, which you can see off to the right. This is a glacier-fed river, as you can tell by its color. This area is pretty much the southern end of the Los Lagos region. Here we're crossing the Palena River via the Ezequiel Gonzalez Bridge, which is right inside the Aysén region. And here we're crossing the Palena River yet again, this time via the Sergio Sepúlveda Bridge, just north of a town called La Junta. This portion of Route 7 rides along this long, skinny lake you see off to the left, which is called Lake Riso Patron. Once again, it's a pleasant view, but there was a lot of really loose gravel to deal with on this stretch. We eventually made it back to pavement and a spectacular view on the way down to the port town of Puyuhuapi, where we were able to gas up. This body of water that Puyuhuapi sits on is actually an inlet from the sea, so that's all salt water you see there. That initial early morning run from the ferry to our first stop at Aysén was around 35 miles. And from there to this point, just south of Puyuhuapi, was another 120 or so miles. So that makes a total of around 155 miles covered in this episode. It's still January 20th and there's more riding yet to accomplish on this day, but we'll pick that up in the next episode. So stay tuned. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. Once again, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Click up here to continue with the next episode of the Chile Ride series in English, or if you would like to practice your listening comprehension by rewatching this same episode in Spanish, solo haz clic aquí abajo para volver a ver este mismo episodio en español.